So I'll be recording the session just for the people who won't be able to join us. Then I can maybe share it on another platform.
On LMS, please, sir.
On LMS, okay. I don't know if it.
Yes.
I don't know if it. I'll be able to upload it there, but I can maybe try and put it on and create a link for it, and then it will just redirect you to either YouTube or what is that other thing called?
Oh yeah, or you can share the link on WhatsApp
Or something like that. Yes. And then you'll be able to access it. Okay,
yes.
but we're not gonna.
Yes.
We're not gonna. The reason why I wanted a Zoom meeting is obviously because it's a long weekend, so I don't know how many people would have attended the class. And then also, for physical education, I don't really like doing classes online because it's movement related. Sometimes I want to demonstrate to you guys my movement abilities. So, but the reason for this one specifically is I saw in the group, it seems like you guys are biting each other's heads off because there's and maybe it's my fault also a bit. So I should have just given you clear, I don't know, or more concrete dates. Okay. So for this session, I'm just gonna go through the lesson plan and then also the test. Okay. So you guys don't have to stress about it. Obviously, you're not submitting anything now. However, next week you will be submitting the lesson plan. Okay.
Which
So
week?
sorry.
Which week will be? When will be submitting the lesson plan?
For you guys, next week Friday.
Next week, okay.
Next week Friday. Okay. So if you saw on the activities, or let me just go to it. Let me quickly try and. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so then that's the scope that you guys will be studying. That's the scope for the test. And then if you see here, for the due date, I said the week of the 15th, so which means this week. So it doesn't mean on the 15th, but it was supposed to be today. There's someone's mic. Can you just mute your microphones, please? Thank you. Anyways. Okay. So it says the week of the 15th. So you were supposed to submit today, but for your class, last week I said you guys can decide whether you want to either submit the assignment or the lesson plan first this week, or would you rather write the test first? So that's where you guys started fighting with each other, I guess. I don't know if you were fighting, but there was a bit of miscommunication on that. So just to inform you, you will be writing a test and you must submit the lesson plan. Okay. But seeing that you guys couldn't really come up with, I don't know, your first choice, next week we will be doing lesson plan. I think that'll be final. And then this date, the 6th. Okay. That date, I will be keeping, I'll have a quiz, and then I'll keep the quiz open for maybe a day or two. So within a specific, maybe the 6th and the 7th, you can just, when you have time, log on and then just complete the quiz. I'll still decide on how many attempts, maybe just one attempt, seeing that it will be open for quite a bit. Then you guys can do it that way. Okay, but let's get into the lesson plan. So then obviously for you, the new date would be the week of, I don't know what the date is next week. But anyways, that will be next week, Friday. So this will be a submission you'll do within within your group. And then if your group is ready with your activity, you can even present it next week, Friday. That's if you are ready. Okay.
Sir?
Yes.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, there are some students that are complaining they can't hear you.
They can't hear me.
Yeah, so I don't know how.
Okay, they must just make sure that they on their volume key, if they're on a
The
computer or a
audio.
laptop. Yeah, they need to join via audio and make sure their volumes are on, that it's not muted,
Mm.
or their microphones.
Eh? Kalau ini mai telong ko inga ko screen na?
Okay, so now you can mute your mics again.
Guys, itu lah ko ngapo? Take one hour. No mo na na screen test ko. Hindi test ko ko take one hour mo tapos.
Okay, there we go. I hope everyone can hear me. Just make sure that your microphones are on and that you've, I don't know, connected via your device's audio. Then you should be able to hear me. Can I continue?
Yes, you may continue.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and anyways, getting into the lesson plan, you see the content of the lesson plan, I've given it to you. It says focus on 5 aspects of development. Okay, so basically just means the more developmental aspects that you have, like the ones that we discussed, the emotions or the mental capacity that you're developing or enhancing, physical activity, etc., etc. The more you can include, the better, and the better marks you'll get, obviously. And then also, so this wasn't supposed to be 5, it was actually supposed to be 3. Okay, more than, not less than 3, but the more that you have, the better it will be. Okay, and then obviously there'll also be a little introduction about your activity, and then on the lesson plan template that I'll show you guys just now, it has spaces where you can actually put the time needed, space needed, equipment needed. And then when I said provide a layout of the activity, that's just if you can maybe like draw down on your computer, maybe set I don't know, like markings where the participants will be standing, and the movement, if it's movement related, how will they rotate, etc. But that's just for bonus. You don't have to include a layout. Okay, but it's always nice to include one, because then it's easy to understand a lesson plan when I have to mark it. And then obviously you need to structure your lesson to include a warm-up. When we do warm-ups, we mean light movement, running, jogging, get the body temperature up, and then also include stretching, okay, in your warm-ups. And then the same goes after your main activity, you'll have a warm down as well, where you lower your heart rate by doing slow activities, or what do you call it? Yeah, just slower activities, lighter activities, and then you finish off your activity by stretching, obviously. Okay, and then I said you focus on skill by including teaching cues or teaching commands. There's an area in the template for that as well. So I think that I told you guys what teaching cues were in the last class that we had. Okay, and then obviously you're going to conclude by discussing the activity itself and just highlighting what the benefits of the activity
Sir?
are. Yes.
Sorry, do you mind? Can you maybe just phrase a little bit on the teaching cubes?
The teaching cues. Okay. So then
Yes.
the teaching cues is basically just obviously it depends on what activity or game or whatever you're gonna do, whether it's dancing, doesn't matter. But when you are a teacher and you're standing in front of your class, once you've demonstrated the activity or the movement, once the child or the learner starts to do it, then the teacher always needs to have commands that they say during the activity. So this helps with the learning process for the child, so they remember the movements better. So for jumping, you would maybe say bend your knees while they're doing the activity. You'll say bend your knees and now swing your arms back, swing your arms forward, and jump as far as you can. Or throwing, you would say swing your arm, take one step forward, swing your arm back, swing your arm past your hips, and release the ball in front of your body, something like that. Okay, if it's dancing, you'll obviously have a movement. So in that movement, look for key areas, whether they need to bend their knees, shake their hips, touch their head. Okay, those are teaching commands or teaching cues. Okay, so for every activity that you do, then you just include some phrases you use throughout the activity or that specific movement. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, so then you get marks just for the hard copy, the lesson plan. So you give one copy to me, one copy you keep. And then in the next part, you'll see this was going to be next week. So obviously, those groups that are prepared can present next week already after you've submitted on the same day, I mean. And then, but there will also be an opportunity. If you're not ready, you can do it the next week as well. So not the week of the 23rd, but the next week, Friday. Okay, so you'll be getting marks for the lesson plan itself, and then obviously on how you present your activity, and whether it's the same as on the lesson plans. Okay, this also gives you an opportunity to teach. So seeing that you guys are small groups, and it's also dependent on how many activities you include or how many movements, maybe you can try and rotate, whereby each person gets an opportunity to explain something. Okay, so that you guys can also try and touch up on that skill of teaching. Then that would also be a bonus. Okay, and then here at the mark allocation, you'll see I said it's 2 group activities. So this will be the first one. So the 10 and the 10, it's 10% plus 10%. So the one you get for the lesson plan itself, and then the other one you get for no, the one is for the first activity and the other one's for the second. Why am I confusing myself? It's for the lesson plan. The first one and the second one, and then the lesson plan is the assignment, sorry. So for the first one and the second one, and the group activity would be presenting those lesson plans or whatever the second assignment might be. So then it will be 10-10 again. And then you'll write 2 tests. The first one I think will definitely be, like I said, will be online or on LMS. So it will probably be multiple choice questions. And then also, I'm still deciding whether I want to put 1 or 2, just long questions or structured questions. Okay, so let me quickly stop this share and then I'll quickly show you guys the template.
Just sorry, sir, for interrupting.
Yes.
The test, it's gonna be next as well.
Not
the one online.
No, not next week. The week after that.
Okay.
Just check there. I said on the 6th, but I'll just confirm the dates for you guys. Okay. Remember, I'll keep it open for at least, I don't know, a day or 2.
For 2 days.
And yeah, maybe for 2 days, so that everyone can complete it.
All right.
Let me quickly. Okay, and then where are we? Everyone can see the lesson plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, this is the template that I posted on LMS. I hope everyone got it. You don't have to use this one that I gave you. If you've got one that you feel is more understandable to you, you can use that one. This one I just posted so that you guys can get an idea on how it should look. Okay, so this is, here they say student teacher or cooperating teacher. So that'll be for you guys. You can put mock names. Don't stress about this. Because the other classes, they said they don't know whose name they need to put in there. Okay, obviously you create the cover page. You can use the IUM lesson plan cover page to put all your names and student numbers. Here you can put the mock name, and then usually in pre and junior primary, there's usually 2 teachers in a class. So it's the main teacher and then the assistant teacher. Okay, so you'll put 2 mock names in there, or you can use your own name. It doesn't matter what school you're from, the grade that you're teaching, the size of the class, which is important so that we can see how large the group is, the period, the time. Okay, and then the unit. Where it says unit, you can literally just say the part, I don't know, of the curriculum that you may be using. You can put in there. So if you're focusing only on the physical, or I don't know, psychomotor, or whatever the case may be, you can put in there. Okay, and then lesson number. Is this your first lesson plan or your first you'll just number all your lesson plans. Usually as a teacher, you remember, there's someone's mic that needs to be muted. Okay, so then, yeah, so every lesson plan that you create, put a number to that lesson plan, just for record keeping. And then here you put the main theme of the day. So are you going to deal with sport, catching activities, jumping activities, running activities, whatever. Okay, and then here we've got equipment needed. This part is also if I know what you guys need, I'll see what I have and then I can bring that. So please communicate. If there's something equipment involved in activity, please try and contact me or send me a list of things that you might need. Okay, and I'll see how I can get it. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sorry. The other guys with the mics, the sounds are really disturbing and we can't get any. Maybe if we can please mute our mics.
Okay.
Yes, it's really disturbing.
Okay, it seems like they are quiet now. Anyways, and then the instructional objectives. So here it just says students will have the opportunity to, and then here you put in now the benefits, or not the benefit, yeah, the benefits. So with the specific activity that you chose, how will this develop or enhance the child's skills, or I don't know, physical attributes, mental attributes? Will it touch on emotional development? Okay, so I put in here psychomotor. I was supposed to change it. You guys can keep it the same, or you can change it to maybe here you can put in, I don't know, whatever you want. You can put maybe emotional development. That goes with affective as well. So when we talk about psychomotor, we basically also talk about mental capacity, okay, in movement. So it's using not just moving or walking, but doing complex movements where you need to think about what you're doing. Then we talk about psychomotor, okay? And then cognitive abilities has a lot to do with mental, okay? So you guys don't have to use the ones that I put there. you can go ahead and change it to emotional or to mental or whatever. Okay, and then obviously because I posted this in a Word format, that makes it easy for you guys to basically add rows and columns like you want, and then you can just edit it. I think it's pretty simple. Okay, anyways, so the time that you need, you obviously put in here. So for the instruction or the warm-up part, this is under progression of the activities. You might put in here, this will take us 15 minutes, maybe not even. Okay, for the presentation part, please don't come to an hour, because then we'll be here for weeks, each group doing an hour activity. So we'll try and cut through the warm-ups quickly so that we can get to the main activity, which is the body. Okay, so then in a normal class session, you'll spend 15 minutes on warm-ups, maybe not even 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Okay, and then your main activity might be 20 minutes, for instance. Okay, and then in this part, you obviously explain a bit what is the main activity. Are we gonna play a game, or is there a specific dancing activity that we're gonna do? And then in the next block, which says formations and organization. So that is pretty much where I spoke about the layout. Okay, so in this area, you can either put the layout or you can just explain how your learners will be lined up for this activity. So for instance, if they're doing a relay activity that involves running, you'll say, I will divide the class up into 2 groups or 3 groups or teams, and then they'll be lined up on the one end of the track or of the marked area, and then each child who is first in the row will run to the opposite cone and then come back and high-five the next person, and that person will run until the whole group has complete, and they'll sit down, okay, to indicate they are done. And in that way you can say or basically highlight which team has won that specific activity. That's just a simple example. Okay, so if you want to be creative, you can come put in colors. I don't know what programs you can use, or you can even print this thing out and draw on it if you want. I don't mind. Okay, just to indicate to me, here's going to be a group, here's going to be a group, there's a group, and here's the turnaround line, for instance, and then you'll give me maybe an arrow going that way, saying they're going to run to that line and then back. If you don't want to do it that way, just literally type in or explain to me how they will be lined up in this specific activity. Okay, and then teaching cues is the one that I explained just now. So if they're doing for warm-ups, you might say, okay, one of the activities will be, I don't know, high knees. They need to do high knees. So they'll place their hands in front of their body, hip height, and then they'll start running so that their knees can touch their hands, right? So you'll need teaching cues for that. Okay, so you maybe say, I don't know, teaching cues for that. You'll say run on the spot, okay, and now lift your knees high, touch your hand. Lift your knees high, touch your hand. Okay, so the knees need to touch the hand every time you basically take a stride up and down. Okay, so that might be an example of a teaching cue. Okay, and in the body, obviously, you're just going to give the name of the activity that you're doing, a brief description, how the formation will take place. So are you going to do it in the class? How will they line up? Is everyone just going to stand anywhere? Whatever the case might be. And then teaching cues on main movements that you'll be doing. Okay, so for teaching cues, I just want to get an idea that you guys understand how to do it together. And obviously, with the presentation part, I'll be able to see where once you present the activity as well. Okay, and then closure is usually when we do the warm down. So you focus on a lighter activity. So it can even be a quick game, or it could literally be taking a slow jog around in a circle, or while they are holding hands. doing circular movements. Doesn't matter, you guys can be creative with that. And then usually in a warm down, we also do static stretching. So it's just where we stretch and hold our stretches. Okay. And then the same thing goes here. So you can explain there the formation for the warm down. And then you have teaching cues for the warm down. Like during the stretching, you can say touch your toes and hold. Or you can say, because it's youngsters, you can say, let's try and touch the roof and hold our arms there. So stand on your toes, something like that. Trust me, when you start doing this, it actually goes quite quickly. So don't be alarmed. Okay, the lesson teaching evaluation. This you don't have to fill in. This is literally what you'll use also, like when you do a real class. Once you guys are teachers and you give a class, then you, in the evaluation part, you just maybe put, oops, sorry. You put in notes on what you picked up. Okay, were the children able to complete the activity? Were they able to do the movements? You can maybe give them ratings. Were there anything that you picked up from certain students that you want to maybe work on more? So any type of evaluation surrounding the activity you did, okay? But like I said, you guys don't have to do it now. If you want to, you can do it and make up things. Okay, and then it's the benefits. It's just like a conclusion of these things that you put here. Okay, so it's almost like repeating those things. So you'll say, okay, this activity, it went well, and while the students or the learners were doing it, you could see they were working a lot. It was very mentally challenging. It was they dealt with complex movement where they had to think about how they move. So, and then there was the physical aspect whereby it strengthened or enhanced their cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength, whatever the case might be. Okay, so any type of benefits, you pretty much list that at the bottom. Okay, and that is a lesson plan. Somewhere, hopefully during the year, you'll also learn about lesson plans from your other modules as well, because lesson plans is literally a teacher's arsenal, okay? So that you don't repeat lessons or show up at a lesson and just try and suck things out of your thumb, okay? So when you do a year planning or a semester planning, you categorize or you break down your semester into different parts. One part might focus more on elementary style activities or movements, and then slowly through the semester you'll progress and make it much more challenging, difficult, or look at other skills. Okay, so then you number your lesson plans, and then for the next year you have a whole arsenal of lesson plans that you can basically do, that basically fits into the curriculum. Any questions?
Keep quiet. Keep quiet. I'm at the school. I'm listening here. You see here. I'm at the school.
Any questions? Okay, does everyone understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now please don't go fight on the group again. Now you guys know next week you can use this template and fill it in, change it like you want, and then you submit it to me with all your names and student numbers on a cover page. And then you can prepare so long. On that day, I'll ask you, are you just submitting or would you like to present today? So that's your choice, okay? And that's pretty much it. I think we have about 5 minutes or something left for any questions.
It's quite clear.
Okay. Okay. And also, just for future reference, I think for future, I'll just give you guys dates, and then that will be final, so that you guys can't
Yeah.
make your own decisions, because
Mm.
then it becomes complicated. And then also, I'm open to any suggestions. If you guys want me to, I don't know, you know, as a teacher and or a lecturer or whatever, you always like to get feedback. Like if there's any
Mhm.
advice you can give me this so that I can maybe present the classes better, please. I'm always keen on developing myself as well. Okay, so please don't be shy or afraid to ask me anything or advise me on anything. I honestly don't mind. If there's no more questions or anything,
That's it.
yes. Was there a question? Okay, so anyways, I think we'll stop there for today. Obviously, we didn't go through the course outline, but that's not a problem because we still have enough time to finish everything and still do our activities and additional activities from my side. Okay, so you guys don't have to worry about that. Sorry? Okay, no question. I'm gonna stop the